Hey, what's up? We are back here talking UTRGV basketball once again. Yesterday we had women's basketball coach Larry Tidwell in here. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming UTRGV men's basketball coach Lou Hill. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, let me give you the hard-hitting question first. You've been here for a year now.
Okay.
How do you like the food in the Valley?
The food is great. The food is great. The Valley's great.
Yeah.
I enjoy being here. My family enjoy being here, so I'm having a ball.
Okay, let's talk about this year's team. You're coming off a season where you guys went 10-22 overall. Obviously not the best season, but you did have some bright spots. There was a stretch there where you guys won 6 of 7 games at the conference tournament. You guys played tough to get to overtime. How would you assess your first season here with the Vaqueros?
Well, you know, you always want to win games, but when I first took the job, I wasn't worried about how many wins or losses the first year. It was just, it's a process, it's a journey. And we had some victories. I implemented an up-tempo style and fun style to come and watch and a fun style to play.
Talking about this year's team now, when you look at what you had last year, really not a lot of guys had played Division I basketball, a lot of young faces on that team. This year you bring in some new guys to mix in with those veterans now. One of those veterans, Nick Dixon, a guy who lit up the WAC last year. He led the conference in several categories, including scoring. How much of a bonus is it to have him back this season?
Well, it's a great bonus. You know, he led the conference in scoring, he led the conference in steals. So now I just added a lot of leadership to put on his plate. So now, you know, and I told him the stats has to turn into wins now.
When you look at this year's roster, 7 new players on the squad, including some intriguing transfers like Terry Wynn, a guy who was at UTEP recently. He transferred over here. He'll be eligible to play after the first semester. When we went out to practice, we noticed he was a very vocal guy on the court. Is that something you feel this team was maybe lacking, a guy who can really rile the guys up and maybe set the tone with his physical play?
Yes, he's going to be a great leader for us. You know, I told the guys, if I got to lead, we're not going to be very good. When the players lead, we're going to be very good, and he's bringing a tough, hard-nosed mentality to the team, and he's very vocal.
We were talking recently off camera about the whole advent of social media these days and how important it really is. And something interesting you brought up was the fact that you can really gauge a recruit by his social media. That's something you guys do. You look at their timeline and kind of check out their history, so to speak?
Well, I guess it's like a job interview in a way. You know, we had someone come out and speak to us, and I never thought of it this way. He said, with social media, sometimes you could tell how the person really is throughout what he writes and what he retweets. So I was like, very interesting.
Yeah, and what have you seen from your players? Some things.
Well, I won't tell you publicly what I've seen, but you know, everything's not good. But we talked about that. But for the most part, though, they have fun on it.
You want to have everything good as can go there. You've been here for a season now. I'm curious about this. I think lots of fans, especially these days, want their teams to win right away. And sometimes coaches don't get a fair shake, a fair amount of time to turn the program around. In your estimation, what is a fair amount of time for a coach to have to really give it a fair shot to turn around a program?
Well, I just say is what's the past of the program? You know, what has it been? And since UT Pan America to UTRGV, since they've gone Division I, they only had 3 20-win seasons. So there's not a lot of history there. So when I took the job, I loved the challenge of changing it, you know, from a non-winning school to a winning program. But it takes time. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. That's why I tell the people, you know, you got to crawl with us at first. And then each year you'll see improvement.
Let's take a look at the schedule for the upcoming season. Some key dates here. The opening game is tomorrow night against Nicholls State. It's going to be at the UTRGV Fieldhouse at 7 o'clock. The first of 2 rivalry games against the Islanders, that comes next week, November 15th. That game will be up in Corpus Christi at 7 o'clock. You will face SMU November 28th, a team that was in the NCAA tournament this past season. And then the conference opener January the 6th against UMKC. How do you like your non-conference schedule this year, Coach?
It's probably too tough, but I picked it anyway because I wanted to make it tough and challenge our guys. So when we get into the conference, we would have seen everything out of conference that we needed to see in conference. So, you know, it'll be fun.
What's a realistic goal for the Vaqueros this season, Coach?
What do you mean in terms of wins or losses?
You tell me, Coach. What do you want to see from this bunch?
I just want to improve from what we did last year. I don't want to give a number on wins and losses. I do that privately, but just improve on what we did last year. So if we do that, we'll be fine.
All right, the Vaqueros set to play basketball. The first game once again tomorrow inside the UTRGV Fieldhouse. Coach, thank you once again for stopping by.
Come out and see us tomorrow.
All right, that's a look at sports. We'll be right back after this.